So are there any questions? No? Okay, so we've only briefly talked about this, but to summarize, we've identified a problem. And that problem is that gendered roles, knowledge, and norms affect the way in which water is used and managed in developing regions. And in general, women are responsible and play an important role in domestic and agricultural water use. However, their voices, their needs, and their knowledge are left out of water management plans. So now that we've identified the problem, we're going to break up into our groups that we've been using for the last few weeks, and we're going to identify or try and generate some solutions to the problem. So here's a case study for you. I want you to pretend that you're being asked to attend a meeting of a local NGO and government that are working together towards a more efficient water management plan in a small village that's in a developing country facing drought. So I want you to brainstorm a list, generate a list with your group that will address what you will specifically do to ensure that the resulting water management plan is equitable and takes these gendered issues that we've been talking about so far today into consideration. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that, and then we're going to come back together and make a large list on the board of everything that we've thought about. Okay, so great job with our large list here, and we've determined that research and practical experiences show that including both women's and men's knowledge and uses of water into water management plans will make them more sustainable, more efficient, and more equitable. Now we've got our great list behind us here, and I'm going to try and summarize this into 4 concepts that the Gender and Water Alliance, an organization that deals exclusively with these issues, have identified. So they've got 4 steps to including gender in water management. Their first step is something we've talked a lot about, and that's gender disaggregated data. So what they mean by that again is that when we're collecting data on water users or water management or water sources, we need to divide that data by gender. Not only that, we need to divide it by class, by caste if necessary, by race, by poverty level, by religion. We need to understand who's using water and how, who is collecting water, who has what gendered knowledge, and then we need to bring all of those into the water management plan. So the first step is gender disaggregated data. The second step is participation of both women and men, all different types of women and men, at the community level of water management plans. So participation and the inclusion of this gendered knowledge we've talked a lot about in water management plans at a local level and then moving up to a larger level. The third step is important, and that's to keep things context specific. So when we're talking about gender equality, we know that gender portrays itself differently in different regions, in different communities, and even in different households. And so we need to take this into account when we're promoting gender equality through these environmental management practices. So understanding the context, understanding that it's not always women that collect water, but in the majority of cases it is, and finding out through our gender disaggregated data what exactly is the case is crucial here. And finally, we need to build organizational capacity to have gender equality. So that means not only encouraging women and men's participation at the community level or with specific projects, but encouraging this equality and different types of women and men being involved throughout all levels of government and all levels of organization. Are there any questions about those 4 points? They're pretty similar to the ones we generated on the board here, but they kind of sum up what we've been talking about today. And they're nice because they take into account the gendered roles, the gendered knowledge, and the gendered norms that we've been talking about throughout the class. So to summarize our lecture today then, gendered roles, knowledge, and norms affect the way in which water is used and managed in developing countries. And understanding water as a gendered resource allows it to be managed more efficiently, more equitably, and more sustainably. So for next week, I'd like you to think about what we've talked about here, how water is a gendered resource in terms of other resources. Next week, we're going to be talking a little bit about climate change, about mining, and about natural disasters. So put your thinking caps on and think a little bit about how these issues can relate to water, and we'll see you all next week. Thank you.